Hello everyone, my speech on the theme of an analysis and application of affordance theory in design of urban rail transit. Now let's begin the first part, overview of affordance theory. The concept of affordance was first put forward by Gibson in the 1970s, which was the core of the theory of direct perception. The affordance was initially understood to describe the directly perceptible behavioral relationship between environments and animals. Let's look at the picture in the lower right corner. What can you find from the pictures? We find that the railing near the information board is bent. The height of the railing is equal to a chair. People will bring out the action of sitting on the railing. However, people take this action unconsciously. We think that the environment gives passengers an affordance of sitting. From another perspective, if bus stop sign is taken a long distance, there may be no carved railings there, right? Designers should discover invisible things in the environment. Well, next we begin to talk about the value of affordance theory in design practice. The traditional design pattern, function-centered design mode, often make designers in trouble. For example, the guardrail used for safety isolation at the edge of a river may become a rest seat for people. It not only increases the risk but also contrary to the original design intention. The design mode is difficult to adapt to the complex multi-interactions between humans and surroundings, and easy to introduce design into idealization. In a complex interaction, designers should understand the relationship of things are objective and pluralistic. On the one hand, one design project needs to avoid the experience and personal judgment of designers as far as possible. On the other hand, designers should to evaluate and analyze the design project for better interacting and keep the target object and the environment dissolving in appropriate relationship to avoid any negative impact on people. The design practice based on affordance is a supplement to the traditional design thinking dimension. Designers need to understand the dynamic relationship among people, objects, environments, and all the three. Interacting relationship in rail transit stations. Well, let's look at some phenomenon which happened in the subway station. Figure 1. The wall and fire cabinet just provide a seat for passengers. That is to say, the environment provides people with a special value. But I think it's not good. Figure 2. We also see that the guardrails for isolation also provide a passenger with affordance of rest. Look at the figure 3. The vertical, firm, and secure handrail provide a reliable value for whom is watching mobile phone in the train. This behavior affects others and increases his own risk, right? Last, figure 4, the mesa at the entrance of the subway station provides people with affordance of seat, table, and the social space. This page shows you an interactive circle on urban residents and the rail transit system. It can be seen that the environments of the subway station and people keep interacting during the whole trip. Consequently, the environment has a number of potential affordances. From the view of design, we need to grasp the hierarchical relationship of design. Design meets the functional requirements, aesthetic requirements, provide value and significance, such as sense of belonging, cultural exchanges, and so on, and ultimately assess the sustainable development of urban rail transit construction. Based on affordance theory, we need to first be able to detect the relationship in the environment, then identify and evaluate affordances so as to achieve positive behavior guidance for passengers. Design strategies based on affordance in design of rail transit. Affordance refers to the values and environments bring to the organisms. In fact, it explores the relationship between visible physical attributes of environments and the internal links of humans. All these affordances rely on one's perception system. People can perceive these shapes, scales, edges, colors, and textures of things by possessing sensory information. In addition, people could build a context by one's experience, social relations, knowledge background, and customs by perceiving objective things. Therefore, according to these factors, the photos can be classified as dominant part and recessive part. We can propose design strategies from these two aspects. First, design based on dominant affordances. Shape. Shape is an important manifestation of an object, which can make people quickly perceive the characteristics of this object and its value and significance. The tick checker at the station in Hangzhou often calls passengers in erroneous operations because information interface of the screen on this machine always shows the pattern of public transport card, and passengers will unconsciously swipe the card on the screen above rather than on the correct card swipe area below. However, the ticket checker in the right picture was taken at a subway station in Nanjing. The designer designed the shapes of one-way ticket collection port and public transport card swipe area coincided with people's cognition. In other words, the shape features can connect people's behavior directly. Therefore, passengers can quickly complete the correct actions. The establishment of scale is based on human, reasonable scale relationship of spaces or facilities in metro stations can effectively be used to grasp people's perceptual psychology. The waiting seats on the wall in the station provide an appropriate scale relationship for passengers. First, there is a metal ball in front of every armrest, which show a scale relationship of action grip with people's hands. With the help of the ball, elderly people with inconvenient legs can easily stand up. In addition, the armrests may provide an affordance for handbags, umbrellas, or crutches. Second, the height and the inclination of these seats show a scale relationship with people's legs, which effectively controls the rest time of passengers and save more space for the platform of the station. According to people's experience, every color usually brings people a different feeling, such as red makes people feel nervous and yellow provides a striking hint for people. The contrast of different colors in a room can make people perceive the relations among these partitioned spaces. Look at the picture. Planner keeps the whole yellow blind tracks as a visual center running through the subway station to guide passengers, including ordinary human. And the color zoning of Hong Kong metro carriages. Red arouses people attention. Dark gray or light gray give people feelings of dense flowing or comfortable slow. People will be unconsciously guided by order. Just like the description of edge in the ecological psychology, it has become the visual foothold of space perception. People perceive the depth level, corner, interface, closure, continuity and interruption of an object through edge. The figure in the upper right corner shows us the exit of Zhu Miao metro station, we can see that many motorcycles stay at the exit, causing congestion and a better traffic order. I think that the boundary between pedestrians and vehicles has not been properly defined by planning enough space, right? Below, a platform rests building in a subway station in Nanjing. Make full use of passengers' psychological boundaries. Maybe you could perceive a sense of security and semi-privacy. The famous Union Square in New York. It's a fan-shaped square from the center to the edge. The designer uses the stairs as boundaries to divide different functional circles. The stairs not only provide affordances of seats, but also isolate vehicles from people. Texture is mainly reflected in the surface of an object, and different textures can make people quickly distinguish the boundaries of things. Hollywood and Y Metropolitan and Plaza, the front square of a station in LA, provides passengers with rich social functions, just like rest, socialization, information inquiry, landscape along the street, and so on. Highlight the local regional characteristics. It also brings users a sense of belonging. By distinguishing the textures of the ground, people can perceive the difference between bicycle lanes, sidewalks, rest areas, and the entrance of subway stations. Design based on recessive affordance. People's own experience, social relations, knowledge background, and customs will help themselves to build some specific contexts when passengers perceive objects. These contexts provide invisible and hidden affordances. Two light rail stations in Japan make good use of urban landscape to enhance passengers' travel experience. Designers design appropriate height of the pallets or handrails rely on building glasses to produce an affordance, which links that people like to watch scenery or sunset at home by the window sill. When someone is relaxed, such a scenario design evokes people's emotions. Though of light in Formosa Boulevard station, everyone sees it and feels different meanings. Perhaps they can perceive cruel words, sacred churches, or just a colorful art installation. At present, it has become a landmark of Kaohsiung City, which attracts more tourists to participate in subway travel. Compared with traditional design methods, affordance-based design process focuses on the relationship between environments and human behaviors. The rail transit designs could try to deal with the relationship by reasonably utilizing physical attributes of environments and constructing potential contexts to link passengers. Establish positive guidance, stimulate users' positive behaviors, let them experience as significance and value in the interaction process with the environment. At the same time, avoid negative affordance as much as possible. It's important for designers to maintain a pluralistic and open attitude. We need to create a sense of participation, belonging, and a better cultural experience for passengers through design, so as to achieve sustainable development value in rail transit. That's all.